Hello and welcome back to the channel. This episode's going to be a little bit different. So first of all, we're going to be talking about GlideAggregate Count specifically and why you might use that over getRecord with GlideRecord. But it's also going to be different because this is my first live stream. So there's a bit to overcome. There's multiple different screens, so if I keep looking around, I do apologise. But stick around and we'll delve into the tool and we'll have a little play with some scripts. Okay, welcome back. So we're going to look at GlideAggregate and we're going to do it on live stream. So what I've done is I've created a background script, right? So the scenario for this is going to be, we have an incident and we're going to have 3 incident tasks that are associated to this incident. And I've created a business rule which is simply going to alert us on the incident that says, hey, you've already got 3 open incident tasks, therefore you can't close this incident, right? So scenario, so when we go to resolve, should have said resolve, the business rule is going to run and it's going to show us, hey, you've already got 3 open tasks, therefore you can't close it, right? An easy scenario for the point of illustration. So we head over to the business rule and we'll open it. I'm just going to ignore that for now, so you can't see on screen. So what does this script do? This is the getRowCount scenario, right? So just to give you an example, it's going to get the unique value, get the sysID of the incident, going to declare count to 0. We're then using GlideRecord to do an active query on the incident task table, and we're saying where the incident field on the incident task is our current incident, count them, right? getRowCount. So if we have next, so if there is a next record found, getRowCount, and we're putting an error message. Now I've prefixed it with GlideRecord so we can see what it is. So what's the issue with doing this? Is there an issue with doing this? So as part of my role, what I do is I do a fair few peer reviews, right? And it's not uncommon that people use getRowCount to count records. It's what we've grown up with, right? It's simple, it's easy, and it gives us what we want. But why should we do anything different? Well, if we're doing it this way, and the only thing we want to do is count the records, what we're effectively doing in this bit of script here, I'm pointing, I'm hoping you can see, is we're returning every record and then counting it. So we've returned the object of every single record, so 3 records before we count it. Now, I guess if we're just getting the number, is that efficient enough? Probably not. If, hi Sharik, welcome to the first one. I hope it's going all right. If we want to do something else with that record, so let's say, for example, we want to count the record and update the short description, this is absolutely fine because we're returning the record and now we can do something with it. So we could do incident task dot short description equals something else, right? Or you may want to update the state. That's probably a better example. You may want to update the state, say let's close them at the point we're closing or resolving the incident. Let's say we don't want to do anything with the incident tasks. We don't want to do anything with the records themselves. We might do a GlideAggregate instead, and this is the whole point of this video. So should we just remove that? Shall I just do that? Right, okay, let's do that for now. So in this instance, what we're using is GlideAggregate, which is an extension of GlideRecord, but it's a database query. So in this scenario, it's not returning all records in order to count them. It's just counting them and then returning that number, right? So it looks slightly different. Let's, there we go. Let's put it back in. So it looks slightly different, but we're still doing the add active query. We're adding this method in here, add aggregate, and there's many other ones as like count, sum, average, min, I think. But let's just focus on the one I think is going to be more commonly used. So count, we want to get a count. Add query, we're still doing that. So these two are still similar. The only difference so far is the word GlideAggregate and the fact that we're adding an aggregate. Now this gets a little bit different because now effectively what we're saying is if we've got an aggregate, then what's the count, right? So we're declaring count, which is a variable we declared right on line 8. We're reusing it. We're saying, what is that count? Well, that count we know is 3. So when we run this, it's going to be 3. So in order for us to play with it, let's head over, do a background script and just muck about. So if you don't play with background scripts at the moment, I mean, this is my PDI. Oh, hang on. Something to mention. I've been on a long waiting list for a PDI for about 3 weeks. Finally got one, so I can actually play around with this. So heading over to background script, if you don't play around with it, get in, have a muck about. It's fine to do on your PDI, but obviously do it with some caution. So if we run those two, we're expecting some kind of error at the minute, yeah, because current.unique value is not recognized. So what we're going to do, head over to here, sysid of this record, and I'm just going to bang that in there in place, right? So in theory, we should be able to run these two code snippets against that one record. Okay, we've just run that. We're just going to change this to info, because add error message. Boom. Okay, right, there we go. So let's take a look at what we've just done. So we've just done, this top one is the getRecord, getRowCount with GlideRecord. So that's giving us GlideRecord number of open incident tasks equals 3. This bottom one here, slightly different. We've been through it. GlideAggregate number of open incident tasks equals 3. So there are slight differences. I think the key point for me is if you want to do something with the records that you return, because you're returning records in GlideRecord, that's absolutely fine to go for that, I'd say. It's going to be slightly more inefficient. If you're just counting, then absolutely look at GlideAggregate, because it's a more efficient method to use, and it's a database query as opposed to returning all the records. Okay. Just out of interest, and as we expand, and I'm just playing with Stream to be honest with you, we've got this this other I guess method you can use called group by. So as soon as I add in group by number, in fact, let's just disable that. Let's put group by number back in. So at the minute, without a group by, we're getting GlideAggregate number of incidents tasks is 3, right? As soon as we add in group by, what do you think we're going to get? 3? We get 1. So we're now grouping by the number field on the incident task. And I'd urge you to go and have a play. So if we put in state, do you think we'll still get 1? Maybe. We get 3. So that tells me, without even looking, the state of all those incident tasks is the same. Therefore, there's one group, right? And it's found the first one and returned 3. So I'd say have a look at group by, have a play around. What does it actually mean? Does it mean if we group by number? Ooh, gotta spell it right. Number. Can we add in number? What happens if we add in number here? I don't know. I'm just playing around now. It gives us task, but it's only given us one task. So does that mean we then have to change that to a while, maybe? Hey, there we go. So if we change that to a while, it's now got 3 different groups, right? So I guess the point is, and I'm doing this relatively quick, but I'm trying to get to the point that try and get yourselves used to GlideAggregate. It's very, very useful, very powerful. And I think the main reason most people favor getRowCount, most people favor getRowCount over GlideAggregate is habit, to be honest with you. So get yourself a background script on your PDI and just have a play around, mess around with these. And I'll put a link in the description to some of the doc sites. There's some really good doc sites, API. There's a nice developer blog site written about this. But it's well worth having a play around. It just gives you another tool to your belt. Anyway, if you have joined for this live stream, I think there's not many of them. One's probably my mom. But I appreciate it because I'm just trying things out, seeing how things go, and I hope it's gone down well and it's come across well as well in terms of quality. Sharik, thanks for saying hi. Absolute legend. I know someone's watching. But until next time, I've been Russ, and this is ServiceNerd.